Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Isaac Shelby Coaches Show. We're in another week of the high school football season. I'm your host, Ethan Schmidt, bringing you all of the things Clarksville High School football, and, of course, my guest and the co-host of the show, Coach Isaac Shelby. How are you, sir?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Coach, obviously, we're coming off back-to-back wins here now. It's kind of a weird feeling when you started 0-2 and we were kind of sitting there talking with each other, and each week it was kind of like, all right, what do we do this time? How do we get better? The past 2 weeks have been really, really good showings by this team, and kind of you're starting to see all the things that this team is capable of. Yeah,
we knew the first 2 weeks were going to be tough. Really quality opponents coming off 2 10-0 years, so it was definitely difficult to schedule. But we played those 2 tough teams, and hopefully it'll help us on the back end.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this Overton team, we talked about this a little bit last week. You knew Coach Lambert. You coached against him multiple times. There's been some good ones, some knockout, drag-out fights. There's been some where, you've gotten the better of him, he's gotten the better of you. But this past week, you were able to come out there. You got a chance to talk to him a little bit about, him obviously being in the metro area and kind of, talking about that. But you got a chance to also coach against him again. And we talked about this after the game, but having that familiarity with the coach and kind of knowing what they want to do, it helps you a little bit in that game plan process.
Yeah, it does. You kind of know what Coach Lambert's DNA is. He's a good football coach. Learned a lot about Overton talking to him. He told me there was a third most diverse school in America, which I thought was kind of crazy. But he does a really good job. I thought the kids played well. They started fast. We did some good things that I think will help us down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, to see your team kind of firing out as fast as they did because of obviously last year the last couple of weeks before that, the Rossview game and then this John Overton game, very fast-paced, kind of what we're used to with Clarksville High School football.
Yeah, I think that with Caden's injury, we kind of had to kind of step back a little bit and then step forward, just with, like, the tempo that we play. But it was necessary, but I think that now we're kind of back to our identity, and I think that helps us out a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, that Overton team, getting that victory improves us to 2-0 in the region. We've mentioned this before. No team had ever gone back-to-back region champs. We did that last year, which ultimately means nobody's done it 3 times in a row. So, and definitely jumping from one region to another, the conversation, obviously, as a coach, you always want to kind of make sure those guys have the best season possible. And one of those things to do that is to be a region champ, is when you talk about that, when you think about that, how do you, are you approaching region games a little bit differently than you would like a normal game or a game that maybe not be conference or whatever it is?
I don't think you approach it differently. It just means more because, the first tiebreaker is head-to-head, obviously. So every time you win a region game, it's kind of like winning 2 games because you automatically have the tiebreaker. So when it comes to playoff time later in the year, getting the 1 or the 2 seed is really critical because that guarantees you a home game in the first round. And then if you can get the 1 seed, then you have a really good chance of having a home game in the second round if you're lucky enough to win in the first round. So that seeding's coming up. So in those region games, we got to come out the victor somehow and figure out a way to stay in the top 2 for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach, I know there's been a couple other games. We didn't get a chance to obviously talk about the freshman game from last week, but the freshmen played just a thriller.
They did.
Where they won by a point against Whites Creek. That was obviously the Thursday before that Friday game.
Yeah.
You were there. Were you able to stay and watch the whole game? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you see with the freshman team?
I had to take Lucy to softball, so I missed the very first beginning of it. But I was there for the end of it. It was kind of neat. Axel threw a sideways elbow lateral that I've never seen before to Josh Pember, but they played really hard. I think you guys did a good job managing at the end, taking those timeouts to force them to punt, and then you get that punt blocked, and then all of a sudden you're back in business with the 2-pointer. It was really, really cool. It's important for us to play those freshman games because that class is so big, and we want to retain as many kids as we can in that class, and to retain them, they got to play, and it's just hard on JV, 8-minute quarters, and it's hard to get all those guys playing time, so we need to play some of those freshman games to help us out.
And then on Monday, of course, we do have the JV game. Northwest comes in. I know you were able to come out there and watch that. a little bit as well. What have you seen from the JV team this year? Because obviously, we talked about this.
Yeah.
That Springfield game was the first JV loss since would have been
4
years ago against Dixon. So
they're,
this is
they're playing. Yeah, they're playing really well. We want to develop those guys. I think Jock had a really good week on JV, doing some good things. So he's worked himself into like a Friday night role, I think. So and he played last Friday night. So we're watching those JV guys. We're looking for Friday night players to see who can help us out for sure.
Yeah, we've had a couple of those young JV guys at receiver be able to step in already this year. I mean, I know Braden came in, had a little bit of time on the field. He's always working hard, and you watch him on the film and you see what he does. And then, of course, you mentioned Jock, who's continuingly to grow as well, which is a good thing for us, maybe a bad thing for opposing defenses as he continues to grow a little bit.
Yeah, I'm watching those receivers. Two other guys, the two guards, Dallas and Cam, they've been playing really well too. I know Cam has a concussion right now, but I think those guys are coming along. If we lost a guard, I think those guys are almost ready to go if they had to, which is really good for a freshman.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. Well, one thing I want to do here, of course, I didn't do it in the beginning of the show, but of course we'll do it here, is we're going to mention our sponsors here in the show. Want to give a big shout out, of course, to Varsity Pins. This is where we're at for our location for the year. They let us jump onto the bus here, so we're able to get on the bus and bring you the podcast every week on the bus. We also want to give a big shout out to Sheepdog Custom Ink and Coach Stephen Conway, who's sitting over there right now. Always thankful for what he does for the program and all the good stuff that he's able to provide for us as well when it comes to clothing and stickers and the helmet stickers and just so many great things. Of course, Wyatt Johnson Hyundai as well, a big sponsor this year. I know they came in, gave a big donation to the program. We're excited to continue to work with them. They're on all of our game day graphics now. That's a big part of that. And I believe, I want to go ahead and push this out because Tropical Smoothie, or is it Smoothie King? Smoothie King, I think. Oh, this is new.
I didn't know about
Coach
this.
didn't know about this.
I did not.
Smoothie King starting next week. All right, we got the email. Smoothie King starting next week on Thursdays. If you go in and there's like a Wildcat deal, and we get like $1 for every thing that's bought that says like, hey, we're buying this for Clarksville.
Okay, then I'm gonna have to start drinking smoothies then.
Yeah, so Smoothie King by this. I believe it's Smoothie King.
Yeah.
I might be completely wrong, and Isaac's gonna get really bad, but I do believe it's in my email. I just don't have my phone on me right now. So that is something that has it's changed as well. So they're going to be another big sponsor that we have for us when it comes to the rest of the season. So that's something that we're going to add in there. So
and Coach Conway's here, not feeling well either over there.
Yeah, he is. He's trucking through there. And, of course, we want to thank Middle Tennessee Sports. They're bringing the live stream for you each week. I know Coach Marcus Lawrence is always big on the live stream. He's always like, when are you guys going to start on time for once, which we did tonight. So, and Miss Sarah said it's because she was here this time to be able to make sure that she got us on time. That's what she told me earlier. So
also, I drove past Chase's house. He's got like a chicken hotel thing going on in the back. I don't know if you know this.
I don't know this, no.
Yeah. There's a bunch of chickens back there.
All right, so that's why he's not here at Varsity Pins with us. So
I guess he's tending to the farm.
All right, we want to thank, of course, all those sponsors. We're going to step aside for a moment here. When we come back, Kanan Orton is going to join us this week. He's going to talk a little bit about Clarksville High School football with us. You're listening to the Isaac Shelby Coaches Show. And welcome back to the Isaac Shelby Coach Show. Right now, Coach Shelby is looking at the Smoothie King menu. It was Smoothie King. That was told to me that I was correct on that.
Got to learn about smoothies now.
We got to learn about Smoothie King. Kanan Orton, are you a Smoothie King guy?
I am.
Okay, well, there you go. There, you might just can look over to Kanan and see what he gets.
What do you recommend?
The Caribbean Way.
The what?
The Caribbean Way. It's pretty good.
The Caribbean Way.
Yeah, you got to try it.
I'm not Caribbean. This is quite the menu. Like, this is an eclectic drink place.
Oh,
but
yeah.
your first choice is Caribbean Way.
I guess so. There's a lot of stuff on here.
All right, Kanan, welcome to the podcast, man. We're excited to get you on here and get a chance to talk to you a little bit about Clarksville High School football. Obviously, for you, this is you weren't with us freshman season. You came out in the spring, though, and really got to work, working in and trying to find your spot, which you did with the receiver core there. Talk a little bit about your journey through the past couple years with Clarksville football and getting that chance to just kind of. I mean, again, you were one little bit behind, but never really too far behind on it.
Yeah, coming in my sophomore year, I know I was gonna have a lot of like uphill challenges because I was a little late, and so when I got in the building, I was kind of nervous because I didn't know what to expect, and I was kind of small. But when you get on the field, I feel confident enough in my game, so I just kind of fit in from there, and I felt good. So, and then junior year. We all know what happened that year. First play against the Creekwood game, broke my lower leg. So
I know I was gonna say, how did that injury kind of like set you back? I know that it was physically tough, but maybe more mentally tough than physically tough. Like, what would you say to somebody that has an injury like that costs them a year? What would you say to like a younger kid that's going through something like that?
I mean, just you just gotta know it's going to get better. Don't let it affect your head too much because you're always going to have like time in the future to get back up and keep going and keep pushing and keep working. And overall, I'm in a good place right now. After that, I was not. But, after this year, I feel good and just keep doing them. If you get hurt, don't quit. Just keep pushing even harder.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that was a big thing, that you were able to kind of push through that and have that moment. And, we obviously texted and talked back and forth a little bit about it, about the comeback and what it was going to be like for you. What did you do from that injury? Like, how did you, obviously I know it had to be the mental thing, but also the physical game. Like when you got a chance to get back to where you could like work back out on it, things like that. What was kind of like your process to get back?
A lot of physical therapy. My mom would take me to Nashville and we would just do a lot of that. A lot of praying, honestly, I kept doing that every night and just working out, just getting stronger, stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know that's tough. I know DJ's kind of going through the same thing right now. He broke that collarbone the other day. That was kind of a weird thing. He came to me at some point and he said, my shoulder hurts. And I said, you okay? He said, yeah, I'm fine. It's good. And then later on figured out I had a broken collarbone and then went back and looked at it. He actually broke it on clip 70. Played the rest of the game somehow and had like 2 sacks with a broken collarbone. It was crazy.
I remember I was on the field when he got hurt. It happened right behind me. I had a block on the cornerback, and I could hear him like wince in pain after. I asked if you were all right. He was like, yeah, I'm good. And he just rushed back to the sideline.
Yeah, we didn't even send him to sparring. I said, are you good? And he said, yeah, I'm fine. And he just continued to play with a broken collarbone.
That's the Bracey family for you, though. They're a bunch of tough guys.
They are.
His uncles were probably telling him he's fine. But Kanan, obviously, what's kind of been the journey to football? I mean, obviously, was it growing up watching the game? What brought you to want to play football?
Mostly my dad. My dad took me to Titans games since I was 1 year old, and he at Staff Orton Automotive, we would throw football in his lot every day, and like I've just fell in love with the game ever since, and I've never wanted to stop or nothing. It's just kind of been one of my biggest inspirations because of this game.
Who's your favorite Titans?
My favorite Titan, probably CJ2K, Chris Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a really good little pick there. I like that. I like the fact that you can look back on it because I mean that's always something when we talk about like why we get into coaching or why we play. It's kind of a similar situation. There's always like that one moment that kind of sticks out to you in general. For you as a receiver, what's been kind of like, what's been kind of one, I know, listen, I know I can be wild and rambunctious as a coach. I get that. That's why Coach Shelby keeps me around. He's got to have one juice coach if there's going to be one. And so it has to be me a lot of times. But what's it like with the receiver group? What's the group like in general?
Oh, we're all very talented. Me, Colby, Coley, Carter, Braden Beckett, the sophomore, and Jackson. We all work hard and we all like want to come out and we all come out and play and we want to do the best as we can and we just want to make the team better overall.
I think those guys all have kind of a different skill set too,
Yeah,
which kind of helps out. You know, some guys are a little better at this or a little better at that, but the whole group kind of gives a different. They all kind of bring something unique to the table, which I think is fun for me. You know.
And also, for all of you who are out there listening, he did say in those first 4 names, Kanan, Colby, Coley, and Carter. So every time I'm at practice trying to find a receiver, I'm saying like 4 different C names, K names at like one time. It's one of the most aggravating things as a coach to try to call on a receiver. Most of the time, Coley and Colby are the same person for me, even though they play different sides of the ball. So it is the most insane thing. So for the parents who are out there naming all these kids with C names, I appreciate you for giving me your sons to let me coach them, but also we need to break that up over the next couple of years because it's a lot of C names at one time.
I did it to Coley or Colby last week. Was it you, Colby? I either called you Coley or I called Colby or something.
It's the most
and they
insane
looked at
thing.
me crazy. I was like, hey, it's pretty close, you know?
Yeah, no, it's the worst thing, especially during like scout team when you guys are out there and I'm trying to like look at who I'm looking at and I'm looking dead in your eyes and I'll be like, Kanan, this is you. It's very tough, but I do appreciate, you giving them all shout outs because it does show like how much work has been being put in over this.
Sure.
And again, this year, we've aired the ball out a little bit more than we have in years past. You're getting a chance to actually kind of go to work out there and show off more than just a skill set of, hey, this is all we're used to. And I think there's a lot of people who are kind of getting put on notice that we always can throw the football. It's just we're finally getting to a point where we got the guys who are putting in the work. What does that mean to you when you get a chance to go out there and actually run those routes and get a chance to catch the football?
Oh, it's great, especially having a quarterback like Caden Pledger. I trust in him to put the ball anywhere on the field, and he trusts me to go get it anywhere. And so just having him, like, being kind of the captain of the offense and just having trust in all the receivers, not just me, everybody. So that's just really great, and I don't mind blocking. I like doing it all.
Yeah.
I think he's really been accurate the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I think he's done a good job putting the ball in spots that we need him to. I think he had one bad play this week that we talked about, and I think that we'll have to call on that again later in the year in that area of the field. I think he kind of learned his lesson on that. So I thought that was really good. He's done everything we've asked him to. He's did a really good job this week. So and he can put it wherever about he wants to. So he's doing a good job with that. I think that competition period in between defense and offense, I think that's helped out a lot, and I thought it got a lot better this week with Brantley and Crass holding the cards. I think we got a lot more reps there that'll help us.
For you, Kanan, obviously now being a senior, you have a chance where you're working with some of these younger guys. What do you feel, young guys stepping up, how do you feel the future is kind of in that receivers group?
Oh, y'all got some great talent, with Jock, Braden Beckett, everybody. They're all physical. They're fast. They can catch the ball. Their catch radius is insane. They're all super talented. And for the next couple of years, after I graduate, y'all have got some dogs in the receiving corps.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
We're going to have to thin that out somehow. Some of them are going to have to go do something else. There's like 30 of them over there.
We'll send them over to Coach Fryer. He doesn't like when I say that, but I always tell him I'll send people over to him.
We got to thin that group out a little bit.
All right, Kanan, so big time. I know probably you've had a lot of people asking you and trying to politic to you on who they want to be on the podcast, what it is. So for you, you get the ultimate choice, though, here. Coach does get a veto in case he wants a veto. But
I was going to use my veto a couple weeks ago and didn't.
But it was a good episode. I mean, it really was.
It was a good episode.
Yeah, absolutely. For Elijah.
That was going to be my veto.
And then he ran the football.
I told
he
did.
Here?
He did.
Wyatt's not here this week. He ran the football really well today.
He really did.
Wyatt knows about that.
I'm gonna have to give Elijah a carry this week.
I think so. I think he deserves it for certain.
Yeah.
I
wish he'd have done that 3 years ago.
What you guys don't understand, though, is Coach Shelby used to do this when he was the receivers coach and a scout team guy, right? So he would just pluck somebody over. Maybe Coach was not the biggest fan of him. He'd be like, "Hey, come run the football and just make some noise."
Sometimes
he did it all the time.
I found my best fullback ever doing that one time. We were at Northeast. Rico Williams was a great one, and he started as a sophomore at right tackle for us, and then he was 2-time All-Region, He was player of the year. He played at Austin Peay. I think he was freshman of the year in the OVC at running back. Yeah, Rico was good. How he became a running back was we're at Northeast. It was spring practice, and all of the non-faculty coaches were not there. And it was just two of us. It was me and Coach Johnson. You know Coach Johnson. Mm-hmm. And Coach Johnson had decided to do Oklahoma drill. And this was back when Oklahoma drill was okay to do.
Legal.
And there was just two of us and like 100 kids. And something happened. We blew the whistle, moving the bags or whatever. And Rico picked the ball up. And nobody noticed it. And then we blew the whistle, and Rico went running and ran over like 3 people and played fullback so he was the right tackle before that. And just fullback every day after that, though.
I'm telling you,
you can find somebody doing some weird stuff.
I learned this from the scout team.
This Elijah situation, getting a carry on Friday, it kind of reminds me of the Aiden Gamble and Aiden Davis thing my sophomore year.
Yeah. He made Chipmunk and Squirrel. Yeah. Elijah, I'm scared he's going to fumble the ball.
He fumbled today.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he'll be fine.
Yeah, no, he's a really good athlete. Yeah. He's really matured a lot, I think.
Yeah,
over the last year.
All right, so who is your pick for next week?
I'm gonna have to go with the new right guard, Colton Smith.
Colton Smith, who stepped up for an injured
filling in for Kyle McPherson.
Yeah, so we'll have Colton next week. We love it. That's exciting. Appreciate your time, Ken. We definitely do. Thank you for stepping out. Thank you, family, for coming out and watching them as well. We appreciate y'all being a part of this with all of us here. So thank you, man. We appreciate you.
No problem.
Good job, bud.
We're going to step aside here. When we come back, Coach and I are going to preview the upcoming game this week as McGavock comes to time. We're finally back home. Welcome back to the Isaac Shelby Coaches Show. We are in our final segment of the evening as we get prepared to talk about our upcoming opponent, which is McGavock. It's another region game. A couple years ago, this was a team that we saw in the beginning of the year. We kind of split the series against them. We beat them away. We lost them at home, though, to start off the season a couple years ago. This McGavock team, obviously a lot different from what we knew a couple years ago. But, again, now it's a region game. What can we expect from McGavock?
You can expect a well-coached team. I think Fred Burnett does a really good job. He played at TSU under Coach Lambert. He does a good job. They're always athletic. You know, McGavock's a big school. They're coming back to us again. Last time they were here, they beat us, obviously. He had a really talented receiver. I think he went to Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if he's still there or not. But really, really talented bunch. Excited to be back at home. This schedule is, kind of away loaded at the beginning. So we'll finish strong at home after that, but, after these away games, but really excited to get back home and get them purple instead of white.
Yeah, obviously that's kind of a hard task, and I think people don't realize that. Not only were we on the road for 3 straight varsity games, but 2 straight JV games. So it felt like every time that we were turned around, we were back on a bus. Yeah,
we keep having to soak those white jerseys in that tub that smells, and we dumped that out today. But it's, being on the road is tough, especially when you're going to a place like Overton or whatever that the kids aren't used to. They've been to Springfield before, obviously. But when you're going to Overton or going to, a metro school that you haven't been to, it gets you out of your norm. The locker room's different. The field's different. The way to get there is different. Being at home is a big advantage, except for painting the field. That's a negative for sure.
Yeah, I saw some of the kickers out there trying to paint numbers. It did not go well, Coach.
Yeah, it didn't. Coach Stanley and I walked past it. We're going to have to get the stencils back out. I tried to trust the kickers with that. It wasn't a good they did not do well. So, no, we're going to have to get the stencils back out and fix some of that for sure.
Yeah, I walked by and they were like, "What did you think, Coach?" And I said, "Well, the 0 is not even close to the same size as the 1 here."
Yeah, it's the one that got us was the 3 on the home sideline.
Yeah.
On the Crow Center side was not a good 3.
It's the Emporia State E. That's what it looks like.
It wasn't a good 3.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done that. I should have just got the stencils out, but try to make the kickers productive, and it doesn't work out.
All right, Coach. So, we've been in a region for the past couple of years, and a lot of these guys, even though they are seniors or juniors or upperclassmen, they really don't remember that Metro season.
Yeah.
I know some of the guys who are seniors now did dress as obviously as freshmen, but they don't really know this Metro scale of athleticism.
Yeah.
What are you telling the guys this week to kind of prepare for that?
It's hard, to match. It's hard to match the speed of those guys in like a prep look or a scout look or whatever you want to call it. It's hard to match those speed. Those Metro teams can really run, and it's not just the receivers that can run. Like the backs can run, the defensive ends are quicker. Just everybody's quicker. And it's one of those things that you don't. You can't simulate. It's just really hard. We haven't found the perfect way to prep the kids for that kind of speed yet.
Yeah, absolutely. But Coach, obviously you talked about it earlier, being region games, you put a little bit of emphasis on this because it does matter when it comes to the end of the season. So with McGavock, whether it's up or down from where they've been in years past, you have to approach this game still as it being extremely important.
Yeah, it's a huge game. Any region game is worth 2 wins. So you've got to come prepared for that, and you have to understand that there's a bigger. It's not just a game; it's a region game, and those really make a difference when it comes to seeding. When you look back in Week 10. And you have a Week 5 loss that's a region loss or something like that really, really hurts you. You can't let that happen.
Yeah. And again, you were getting some key pieces back. I know we talked about, obviously, unfortunately, with Kyle and DJ, but you're getting a couple of pieces back in as well. Talk a little bit about where you feel the team is right now.
I mean, it's kind of we haven't had all of our guys together yet. You know what I mean? It's really tough. That injury to DJ really hurts for sure. Kyle's a meniscus, so those things tend to heal pretty quick. But it would be really, really neat for these guys to come together, play well, make a run in the playoffs, and get DJ back in the purple after that collarbone heals.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Coach, you mentioned it. We're back home this week. What's the message to the Clarksville High School faithful about coming out on Friday night? Because they really, unless they traveled over, which I think we traveled really well, obviously, to Rossview. But just obviously the beginning of the year, that was the first time we were at home. It was against Blackman.
Yeah.
Was not the greatest showing for Clarksville High football, but we're finally back home.
Yeah, I think we fixed some of those problems. We're going to give, the crowd and the community something to be proud about. And the mistakes that we made against Blackman were, they've been fixed. But it's been 3 weeks. So, hopefully those guys, everybody gets back out there and supports these guys. And I know they will because it's Clarksville High.
All right, Coach. Well, I do want to thank you for your time. Again, want to give a shout-out to all of our sponsors here. Of course, Varsity Pins letting us come out here and using the bus and using their facility to do the podcast each and every week. We want to thank them, of course. You mentioned Chase earlier in here. Hopefully the chickens are doing well for him at his house.
Yeah.
I don't know everything about that, but
Lucy's at home sick, so I went over and ordered one. So I'm going to spill this because Katie's watching on YouTube, but I went over and got a brownie with ice cream from Chase. I'm going to pick up on the way home, take home for them.
Absolutely,
so be excited about that.
We got to keep the weekly tradition alive here.
Yeah.
And of course, we will also want to thank, of course, Wyatt Johnson Hyundai. Of course, they'll be out. They bring a car to the game, so if you are in looking at that, they'll have a car at the game that you can take a look at as well. Also, of course, we want to thank Sheepdog Custom Inc. and, of course, Coach Stephen Conway, who's sitting over there, and he'll tell you here that this is the best Dr. Pepper in the world. I know you can't have them. I'm so very sorry that I keep mentioning that. But.
Also, a big night for Ultra Federal Credit Union. They're going to come out. They'll set their tent up. They do one each week. So if you're looking for a student checking account or a car loan, Heather Parada and her team at Ultra, they'll be there working. So, give those guys a listen. We'll get their tent set up as soon as they get there, and that's a big bonus too.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, Middle Tennessee Sports, who do the live stream for us. We want to thank them. And, again, I was right. It is Smoothie King starting next week. Smoothie King has a deal out on Thursdays for us. And last but not least, my wife and I have been working on these signs.
We got one of those on the porch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we're working on actual like intro sign or entrance signs to your house, some welcome signs. So if you're interested in that, Callie & Co. Designs, where you want to go for that. We have those as well, so you can look at it.
I got a compliment from my neighbor on it the other day.
Did you really?
I did. I don't want to say which neighbor, but
we appreciate.
Yeah, I did get a compliment from the neighbor.
We appreciate everybody who's drove by. If you see that at Coach Shelby's house, that's what you can get. You can get a 6-foot or 4-foot sign, and actually the one that you're seeing on your screen right now is for Miss Rotel. We got that designed for her, so that'll be hers. That's going home with her. So
sweet.
We're excited for that to continue to pick up, and we are obviously helping all the schools in the area show some school spirit, but it starts at home with Clarksville High School, and that's where we want to get that started. Those will be on display as well at the games, so if you're interested in that, you can see that at the games. We want you to show your school pride all around Clarksville.
I'm excited about it.
All right, cool.
I'm going to go grab that brownie on the way home.
All right, Coach. As always, we want to thank you guys so much for listening. We want to thank Coach for coming out for us. And, of course,
go Cats.
Go Cats. We'll see you all next week.